Hey everyone, welcome to a Good e-Reader comparison video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
We have here the Sony Digital Paper DPT-RP1 versus the Remarkable. So these are the two top-of-the-line digital note-taking devices.
Yes. Hardware is very nice on this device. It's very thin. Very, very thin. You have the one button up top for pretty much all of your... It's kind of like a home... It's not really a home button, it's a menu button. Everything happens up top here. You have a power button, a micro USB, and a status indicator light. There aren't any other buttons or anything else on any of the sides. You just have a magnetic kind of snap for your stylus. Kind of a weird place to put it because it never really stays on. Just kind of always wants to fall off. So we do have NFC on this device as well.
And Bluetooth.
Yes. So this is a really nice device. It's much smaller, and I'm not saying that like this isn't, but it's much smaller and more compact. You can see the huge screen difference in these two. We have three buttons at the bottom, a home button, a previous button, and a next button. You also have a power up top. Nothing on the sides, and the back is a very nice metallic backing with two rubber stoppers on it. And the screen is flush with the bezel on both of these devices. The Remarkable stylus is quite nice. It's very sleek, very simple. There's no buttons on it. You do have a pushable nib with over 2,000 levels of sensitivity. You also have a nib holder at the very back. So in lieu of a button, they've allowed you to put a nib holder for all your many nibs. And included in the box with the Remarkable are many different nibs with a little grabber tool to get it out of there. On the Sony, one of the downsides about the Sony is you have to charge it. It has a micro USB on the back. You have to charge this up or else it will not work after it's depleted. You do have graphite nibs and plastic nibs that you get in a bag with a little grasper tool as well. The graphite nib, I've found that even after a week of using it, it wears down really quickly like a pencil and it starts to get dull, but you can just replace those. You have both an erase button and a highlight button and a magnetic snap that goes on the side of the device.
So in terms of form and functionality, although the Sony is larger, it actually has a smaller battery. Right. It only has a 2,000 milliamp battery, whereas the Remarkable has a 3,000 milliamp battery. Both of these require proprietary apps. It's not as easy as just plugging them via USB in your computer and dragging and dropping files. Both of these companies offer their own proprietary apps. Remarkable has smartphone apps, both for iOS and Android, whereas with the Sony, you need to plug it in and you can copy files to the Sony and then you can copy anything that you edited, workbooks and things like that to your computer.
So on the Remarkable, you see it's very obvious home screen. You have your information at the bottom, everything on the side, your recently opened ebook or document.
You also have a settings menu too that shows everything here. It's kind of Android-esque.
Yes. On the Sony, this is it. This is your home screen. It's kind of very Kindle Touch-y in the sense where it just shows all your files, PDFs. Well, PDFs is the only thing it reads, so basically PDFs. Alternatively, you can press the top. That's it. You get settings, create note, all notes, folders. You can't really go any further back.
Yeah, so you can see here that the Sony also has like a settings menu, although it's, you know, you have to go to the menu in order to do it, but you can do a lot of different things on here. Screen lock, orientations, initiate NFC Bluetooth modes and things like that. Turn Wi-Fi off if you want to.
So on the Remarkable, what we're going to do is we're going to choose the paintbrush and the largest size because it'll be the easiest to see on camera. And on the Sony, we will choose blue pen because it's the darkest, and we'll just go from there. So on the Remarkable, you can see you have levels of pressure sensitivity. So in one swoop you can get very thin or very bleedy. So it's a very high quality line. On the Sony, if you click on blue, and I'll explain real quick, blue and red is if you draw on blue, it'll show up blue when you screenshot or save this to your computer. So on Sony, you can see that doesn't matter how hard or light you press, it actually doesn't change any of the pen thickness, so you'll have to go back to the pen, choose a different thickness every single time. So that's a little bit of a drawback on the Sony. In terms of erasing, it's very simple on the Sony. You just press the secondary button and everything erases very quick.
And there's no residual ghosting, which is like super important.
On the Remarkable, you have to select the eraser itself. You can either select the stroke by stroke erase, takes a little bit of loading time, or you can choose the selection erase, or you can choose the entire screen erase. With the Sony, it is what it is. You get this feel. It's very good, it's very responsive, but that's really all you get. The Remarkable goes a little bit step further with different things like pencil graphite shading if you hold it on the side, pressure sensitivity while you're doing it. It also has things like you can box a certain amount of stuff, move it around, expand it, make it larger, rotate it, move it over there. I mean, there's so much you can do with this. You can click on here if you want to watch our full in-depth writing review. You can see how we do layers. We have highlights. There's so much to the Remarkable. With the Sony, it is what it is. You get this feel. It's very good. It's very responsive, but that's really all you get. The Remarkable goes a little bit step further with different things like pencil graphite shading if you hold it on the side, pressure sensitivity while you're doing it. It also has things like you can box a certain amount of stuff, move it around, expand it, make it larger, rotate it, move it over there. I mean, there's so much you can do with this. You can click on here if you want to watch our full in-depth writing review. You can see how we do layers. We have highlights. There's so much to the Remarkable.
Next, we're going to look at the Ebook Experience. So the Sony Digital Paper is only capable of reading PDFs. The Remarkable, on the other hand, does PDFs, but it also does Epub. And Epub is the most popular format online, although it doesn't read DRM protected content. So as you can see here, more text is on display on the Sony, which is very useful because you're fitting a full page of text here. Because it's a larger screen, it's easily read. We have an Epub here, and again, a PDF on the Sony. You can go to like get rid of the UI and go to like a screen, and you can actually turn pages with the page turn buttons, whereas with the Sony, it's only touch screen.
But you can't turn it with the touch screen on the Remarkable.
That's right, and neither could you pinch and zoom.
Nor can you on this.
Okay, so the Remarkable does have text options here.
The Sony does not.
So you could adjust the size of the text, and in real time it updates, although it does take a second or two for every change that you want to do for it to be transferred over.
The only way to do that on the Sony is to click the zoom level, click on an area in which you want to zoom, read it up until that point, press exit, then move it over and do it all over again. Not very good.
Yeah, so if you wanted, this is a PDF ebook, so this isn't like a D&D Monsters manual or something that's image heavy. This is an ebook. So in terms of the ebook experience, the Remarkable has a bit of an advantage because it can support Epub, and you can adjust different fonts, line spacing, page margins, justification, and stuff like that.
So neither of these you can do long presses or highlights or notes or annotations in the conventional sense. But if you write on it, that's pretty much like doing a highlight or a note, because for example, we have the highlight function on here. We can highlight this paragraph, say, oh, I like that one. Or I want to use my pencil and say this is a very important note, as well as this section and this section. And that's really cool because, you know, on a Kindle, on a Kobo, you can't get this in depth with note-taking. Same with on the Sony. If we click on the pen here, we can box that, we can point to that, and the Sony actually has a highlight button where you can make 10 different layered highlights just by pressing and dragging this button. So that's a really cool feature that even the Remarkable doesn't have, and the eraser is as easy as that.
Yeah, so in terms of just the PDF ebook experience, Sony has the advantage because it's the largest screen. Remarkable, if you have like a small body of text here, it's almost unreadable. And it's the same thing with the Sony. You have to press the zoom button except unlike the Sony, you actually have a mini map here that you can change the text and stuff like that. But the disadvantage is once you find like that sweet spot and you turn a page, you're reverted back. So it doesn't maintain the zoom levels per page, which is a little bit perplexing. So for the PDF ebook experience, we have to give it to the Sony, but both of these are well worth the money. We'll leave it up to you guys to make the final judgment call, but you've heard our perspectives on elements that each of these devices bring to the table, advanced features that each, the competing device doesn't have. But we want to know what you guys think. Drop a comment below. Let us know what you think of the Remarkable or the DPT-RP1 for GoodEBeater.com. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.